You better watch out, you better not pout, you better not cry, I'm telling you why. Amanda Claus is here with another fun tutorial for you. Now, we did sugar scrub earlier in the week. Well, they'll probably go up fairly close together. And I thought, you know what? We need a couple more gifty things. And this is so easy and so quick. Now, I haven't done these little badge backs these ways. I thought I pulled out the ones I had galaxied, and which is an earlier tutorial of mine. Unfortunately, that isn't the one I pulled out, so I'm just going to splodge some matte gel onto this, and then I'm going to take a piece of cardstock and just try and work it in. This might not work. I may have to, I know what to do to make this work a bit better. Hang on. Or is it working? Is it sticking now? It's just because it's got a ledge. You can tear this up if you want to, like I did for the ones I did for Poe Party, but I was trying to do this in an easier way, and I think in trying to do that, I've just made it harder. So what I'm going to do is just cut an approximate circle from this and do that for the other three I have cut out. Because you just sort of want an approximate circle. I realised there was a spot I went a little low in. You kind of just want an approximate circle of what. Yeah, these are bad circles. I cannot cut a circle the same. I cannot cut straight lines either, by the way, just so you know. Now, I've done these a little bit bigger than we need because I think that's going to be the better option. So we'll just leave it at those. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do little cuts. Now, you might think this is nuts, but this is what I learned in cottage craft, and it really helps when you're trying to cover a circular surface. Not only that, it also helps when, it helps covering curves, and it's something I learnt, and I watched someone do something, just a how-to video today, and it made me cringe when they didn't do this to get around the edge of the circle because it just looked so freaking horrible. Sorry. That's just my opinion. Like, I'm a bit more fussy than that. I just like things to look good, and I get very frustrated when people just sort of don't look at techniques to do it. And I forget that not everyone has the techniques to do these things. So look, that's, as you can see, that has just fitted much better in there. And then we're just going to push all these little edge bits in, and we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to trim all the excess off. So don't stress too much if the center of this gets a little worked, because you're putting something in the center of this. See, now that is how it looks now, and then once it dries, or even now probably, because it's a very quick drying, it's the Prima matte medium, is I'm just going to take the scissors. Okay, nope. You've just got to be gentle if you're doing it before it's dry, but my suggestion would be to wait until it's dry, because then it doesn't move on you. Which means that, unlike me, you're not going to have any spots that are a little bit silver, and I get very annoyed at that. I work very hard with things not to have the silver showing because of, yeah, but that'll be okay. Okay, so that is that, and then what I'll do is I'll glue the others whilst I will do the little cuts around the edges and glue the others and they can dry whilst we're doing our quilling. Now for this tutorial, it's really simple. You just need these little badge backs. You can get about 50 of them for $2 or $3. Like, they're really not very expensive at all. And they are, okay, I can tell you now, do not paint them. Paint, actually, I don't know what it is about paint and the metal these are made out of, but paint rusts on them, which is very odd, but it's supposed to be a stainless steel, but I found paint made them rust. So, especially acrylic. You can emboss them, you can heat emboss them. You can also mosaic them with paper, and you can... You've got options, but I kind of like the paper mosaic. Unfortunately, I don't have any Disney or Star Wars themed paper at the moment. So, well, and this gold is just the gold from the paper pad, the We Are Memory Keepers little alphabet punchboard paper pad. And you can kind of see how that pushes up and pushes in. Now, don't stress too much if you get a few little marks, because you're going to end up putting stuff over this, and you are going to end up gel mediuming over the top to protect, or glossy accenting over the top. So I'm just going to do this one. Where are we? 6 minutes. Okay, we're not too bad. The longest process for this is really your quilling, and honestly, one of these only has 3 shapes and one has 4. So you're really not looking at a great deal of work for these. And when you see how easy these are, oh, by the way, these are Disney themed. Like, seriously, these are for the Disney lover, for your nerdy friends. We are going to, I won't tell you what we're hand quilling yet, because I think it'll be more fun for you to discover as we go and maybe have a guess. If you've ever bought just plain bows from my Etsy store, you may have received one of these as a signature item, because I do put one in every order I try to. I didn't at first because I didn't have them made, but since I've been making them, everybody gets one particular very well-known character in their pin in their order, and the other one I've only made one of before, so, and I know how to make it, I just have to make sure I remember. Okay, so we've got 3 little pins going there. I'll just clean my brush briefly. Actually, I can use the water I had for the I just remembered that I had the little cup with the water that we used to melt the coconut oil, which is just perfect. And I'll just give that a quick wipe. Pop these to one side, grab one of my wipes and clean up this little bit of cardstocky mess, and grab my quilling paper. Now, we have black, we have a beigey brown, and we have a green. So, pause this video for a minute and comment below if you know what characters we're making. 2 different Disney characters. If you do... Yeah, okay. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. The lighting's not too bad right now, and I'm having moments all over the house today. I'm trying so hard to catch up on Vlogmas, and everything just went flying. But I do think I need the light, at the very least. So let's plug the light back in, shall we? Oh my goodness. This is why I usually don't record when I'm sick, because everything goes to hell in a handbasket. I have a quilling board. This is a Quilling Creations ones, but honestly, you can pick up a starter kit on eBay with a big ass packet of random colours of quilling strips for under $10. You can get the quilling mats are about $3 to $4. The quilling tools now are only a couple of dollars. You can get quilling guides and all sorts of weird and wonderful things for quilling. We're going to be using the different sized holes to help us. So what I'm going to do is just pop those all, get all that out of my way. Get this, put the lid on the gel medium. At least the gel medium didn't go flying. Thank goodness for small mercies, hey? Okay, so we're going to start with, if anyone has good tips on how to store your quilling paper, I would really love to know, because I am struggling. So this is almost a craft colour. I wish I had known that. It is literally almost a craft colour. Because I find it really hard to get these in the bags again once they've come out. And once you start using the strips, I find it really hard to keep the strips really neat. So it's just something, yeah. Okay, so now we're going to take a whole one of these strips. And the reason we're taking a whole one of these is because, okay, I'm just going to chop that little end bit off where the glue is. So it's a bit hard to get in the tool, it would have been. Okay, so you've got your slotted quilling tool. And you're just going to, you just do an even pressure and scroll. It's so easy. I love quilling. I'm no expert. I'm honestly no expert at it, but I really do love quilling. It's nice and simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort, and it looks really good. And this is quilling in miniature. Just, it's not something I've noticed a lot of people do. You're gonna love these. Honestly, if you're someone who wants to craft, who's like, I can't craft, it's too difficult, I tell you now, I kid you not, you could probably do this. Now, what you're going to do is you keep it nice, and you coil reasonably tight for a minute. And then you pop it in your little circle, and it goes to the right size. And then we grab our glue. And the good thing about this board is you can do a whole lot of circles at once and make sure my glue can come out. This is just glossy accents. I love this stuff. I use it for all sorts of things. It's just really fast and easy to use. So now, is my glue going to come out? Okay, we'll try that again, shall we? Okay, put it back in our little circle thing. Okay, seems like it'll work now. Now I'm just going to pull this tight again for a minute. That's the thing, if it gets out of shape, just pull it back. Now I have noticed I have misplaced the tool I normally use to do this, but what I normally do is I will normally do an outer circle and fit it with an inner circle, because I find that you don't get, okay, so that's fitted together nicely again. We grab a little of the glue, very tiny dot of the glue, and glue it down. Now I just pop them back in there to make sure they keep the shape I want, the size I want. Now, you want to make sure you keep the tip of your glossy accents clear if you've never used it before. You could just use any other paper glue. It doesn't have to be glossy accents. I just noticed my camera is shifted a bit. I'm sorry about that. I'm probably at a bad angle for this now. So now we only need one piece of that. Oh yeah, one piece. Now this whole 120 pack cost me under $2. And I have heard people say, oh, the cheap stuff off eBay is not very good. I have not had that experience. But then I'm looking at this and it looks a bit manky on one side. However, this side is fine. So now this one, we are going to cut in half. Now, if you're looking at these colours and they're ringing a bell, I hope you've commented below what you think this character, or who you think this character will be. Now, bear in mind, this is in quilling form, so this person is not going to look exactly like their character normally would look. And then we just want to cut this one in quarters. So half and quarters. Now, the reason we do this is, like, I wanted that one nice and full because of the shape it will make. This one is staying round. There's another hint. Okay. I'm noticing with this, where the glue is very, you do have to trim that off. I've not had that issue with this type of quilling paper before, actually, to be honest. These are the first 2 packs where I've had to do that. And it might just be the way I'm pulling them off. So again, just round, I just use my finger as a guide, but you can get a quilling guide. And just gently, you don't want to do it too tight, but you don't want to do it too loose. So it's sort of gentle but firm. Then you just slide it off. Now that was the half one, so I think I want that one in that size from memory. I'm doing this from memory, so this may end up being bigger than, hang on, let me see. So yep, that's about right. But I just realised this has come undone a bit more than I wanted it to, and I probably could have gotten away with even a whole strip or 3/4 of a strip for this particular one. But we'll see how we go. The really good thing about this is that if it does separate too much, you can use your tool to swirl it around and add another bit into the center. Because once you glue it in place, they do move a little. So, pretty sure it was the small ones I used for the ears. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get these done, and then I'm going to do the 3 pieces we need for our other one, and then we can work on them. Mostly because one of them has very simple shapes. You don't actually need to do any shaping. There's a good hint. And you find lots of them hidden at Disneyland, Disney World, in Disney movies. Oh yeah. As I said, this is a really good gift. Actually, I shouldn't be showing this because I have plans to make several of these for some Happy Mail I'm working on in a Star Wars theme. Okay. So now I need some black. See, that comes off a lot easier, and it's the same brand. So I think it just depends on the batch you get sometimes. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw, but honestly, it's still quilling nicely. I'm not having issues with it quilling. It just came a little bit manky. And that could be me, because it's been floating around in my room for a while. Oh, I'm supposed to be cutting this up. One day, Missy, you'll remember what you're doing. At least this is the last video I'm filming for today, and then I have to go and convert them and start uploading them, and I'll probably start with today's and work my way back, and then this is tomorrow, so then I've just got about 3 more to film and I'm done with Vlogmas. Yay! And I have a celebration New Year's cheesecake, but that will be another day. That'll be sometime next week, I think. I got the stuff for it anyway. So this is half, and I want this one to be this size. Oh, this one's come out again. Sometimes they don't like being contained. We'll see how much more I have to. I always pull it in a bit more than I need to, that way it'll fit back in nicely and hopefully not pop out. There we go. Now, again, we want to quarter this one. So you're looking at this. This is super economical. You can use scraps of paper for your badge backs. You could cut out, you could like paper mosaic it. As I said, I have a tutorial on how to heat emboss these in sort of a slightly galaxy effect, which doesn't look as good until you add something on it, which I probably should have pointed out when I did the tutorial, but I didn't think of that at the time. Okay. Okay. So we've got these. How are we going for time? Nearly 20 minutes. This is going to be another long one, so we'll have to have a code word at the end. I have to keep remembering. Sometimes I remember to do code words, and sometimes I forget. So these are all our quilts. This is it. Now, you're going to be thinking, wow, that's not a lot of quilling for our badge backs. And you'd be right. However, that is okay. So now that these have had a chance to dry, I am going to gently with the tip of my scissors, cut around the edges. Hopefully this will stick. I will say this, I said it in another video that I can't upload until I can learn to edit, but I actually like the Liquitex gel medium better than the Prima. I find it sticks better. I'm sure the Prima has its uses. I've just found it a lot more difficult to work with in terms of sort of paper mosaicing and stuff like that, and it tears things, it sort of makes things wetter. It's so hard to explain, but yeah. I like it. I definitely prefer the Liquitex. So there we have our 3 little badge backs done. So we won't use the one that's a little bit wonky, but we've got a gold and a silver. A gold and a silver. A gold and a red. Very iconic for one of the characters, the red. The gold I just thought would play well with the green and the bone colour. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal off the edges, and as I said, you really don't need, you need the tiniest dot of glue for this, and then I pop them back in where they were sitting to make sure they stay okay and to give that sort of glue a moment to dry. Glossy Accents is really good because it dries so quickly. But you know, you can use a matte gel, you can use so many things. Like I could use the Prima matte gel to do this, or you know, I could get a little, what do you call it, fine tip applicator bottle, which I do have some of, but I always clog them and stuff. So yeah, I need one of the ones that has the needle that goes into it, sort of like the Pico embellishers. I love those things. Anyone use those? The Simply Irresistible Pico embellishers. I would love to have. I have 1 or 2, but I'd really love to have it in black. They are super fine line, and they kind of write a bit like a, what do you call them? They write a bit like, oh, they work a bit like a Sakura glaze pen, only it's a super fine nib. I just have to make sure this is actually still the right size because these need to match. And see, you can see this one's actually coming, so hang on. I'm going to re-quill this one actually because it has come undone a bit. And that's okay. If you need to re-quill something, don't be afraid to re-quill it. Just because it was coming, I sort of botched it a bit. Yeah, so I really love those, the Pico embellishers. They're really fun to doodle with and to go over doodling, and like, you can't erase fine lines under them. That's the only thing. So if you're confident in you know what you're doing, they'd be a really good thing for drawing with and stuff, because they give you a, okay, now I've pulled that too tightly. We're gonna have to wait a minute. Unfurl, unfurl. Unfurl, unfurl. And I may have unfurled it too much. Nope, perfect. I did quill that a little tightly, and because it had already been quilled, yeah. If you hear voices outside, that's just my neighbours and my little, the little, what is it, gecko lizard that comes to visit, and I know how he gets in now, so even when I try and entice him out of the house, he doesn't want to leave, but he can leave through the wall apparently, although you can't exactly see, but I saw him go down the side, so I'm pretty sure he gets in and out when he wants to. Just likes to scare the crap out of me. Just ran across the lounge room floor. Okay, so we've got all these little bits. Now, for the first one, we're going to take our badge. We're going to take our big circle. Okay, we're going to take our big circle. We're going to dot some glossy accents onto the circle, the bottom of the circle. And I always look to see if one side is a bit nicer than the other. I don't know why. It's just a habit I have. And you're going to glue it towards the center, but down the bottom. Now, what I usually do is I try and hold my badge so I can see and position it a bit better. It doesn't have to be perfect because this is handmade. Now I'm not going to do a top coat on these, although I normally would, because they're going onto paper. It's paper on paper, so I would just let people know not to wear these in the rain and stuff, just to let them know that it is paper. But usually what I will do is a top coat, because I always try and make sure that little bit that is showing, the little join bit, is actually straight on top of the other on top of the head. Now I'm sure just by those two you're starting to see who this character is. This is something I sort of came up with. I don't know how. Like, I looked up Disney quilling and I didn't see anything like this. I saw, don't get me wrong, I saw beautiful Disney quilling, just nothing like this. And I was like, oh. And then I had this idea of quilling in miniature, and as happens in my life, and I've lost the side where the glue is, I go, oh, I'll give that a go. And it worked, and it looked super cute, and I really love it. And there you go. That's just a super cute little Mickey head, hand quilled for Christmas. Now, if you have someone really into Disney in your life, that is a really great idea. Although I don't sell this particular design in my store. This is my free, like, if you buy bows from my Etsy store, I haven't always, because I haven't always had them ready, or I haven't always been able to find them, but it is a signature item that I do try and include with bow orders. If you order Poe Party bows, you get the little hand quilled raven pin, which I'm really proud of as well. Now, this is where we're going to change things up a little. Now, what you're going to do, where's the bottom of this? Put our finger on the bottom, and you're going to put your top finger and your thumb underneath, and you're going to press like that to make a little flat bottom hill type shape. And that is the first shape for our thing. Just add a nice amount of glue on the bottom. I may have made this all a little bit big. Let me see. Yep. That is, I might be able to get away with it. He'll hang over a bit, but I don't think I mind that. Okay, so I think I'm not going to fix this. I'm just going to let this one be a little big. Sometimes that's nice, like oversized is good sometimes, but I'm hoping by now, especially with these two little shapes, you're starting to see who this one's going to be. Although if I made this again, I would definitely do his head a bit smaller. Now what I'm going to do is, what I said is that sometimes when they unfurl a bit much, you just do this. You make sure it's sort of a round shape. And then looking at this, if I make that just a little bit bigger of an unfurl, so just unfurl it a little bit more, I can then go in with this little piece. Hang on. Is it going to go in? Hang on. And I can just gently, I'll of course have to cut another quarter and do another piece, but that has actually, yeah, it's alright. It should be okay. It's flattened a bit on the bottom, but basically what you get is you fill in that gap. It's okay to have gaps, you just don't want them too big. So all I've done is just filled in that gap so we don't have a big gap in the head. And what I'll do is grab another piece of this, quick fold in half, fold in half again. Sorry, I keep flashing at you, I don't mean to. And this is for the 23rd day of Vlogmas. Oh my gosh. How quick is time flying, people? I cannot get over it. I'm just going to have to trim that little edgy bit off because for some reason it's not letting me do what I need to. Okay, so I'm just quilling this one because I kind of screwed up by making that a little bit bigger. And I've also put the top at the wrong spot, but we might be able to fix that. Let's see if I can. And now I'm doing everything too tight. Oh no, I hate it when it won't work off the thing. Hang on. Okay. Now we just pull this again. Roll it up again. Sometimes I do that, like sometimes I find it really hard to get it off the quilling tool, other times I don't. Okay, that's about the right size. Dot of glue, pop it down, pop it back in, make sure it's all in okay. Okay, so what I did with this one that I realised is I accidentally put the end bit at the top, but you're not going to see that anyway. So now I've got this bit. So you've got your bit at the end that you want to hide. So what you're going to do is you're going to push here to sort of make a square bit, and then you're going to push down and make that shape. I'm hoping you can see it. Oh, good. Luckily for me, I have a really crisp camera. So then what you're going to do is you're going to attach that one to one side of the head. And then we're going to make the same shape with the one we just made. Push down on the end bit, push in. This has come out a little different to how the other one did, so it's going to probably look a little bigger. Still good, just, yeah. That's the nature of handmade though. Like sometimes I used to get really shitty and try and make everything perfect, and now I'm like, you know what, that's handmade. If you want something perfect, you go for mass produced or something that is machine produced. You can't always produce everything exactly matchy. I do try though, and I think I'm not as happy with the fact that that is, oh no, a bit, hang on, let me see if I can get it right. I can probably make the other one match up a bit. I think one was also just a smidge bigger than the other, which is another thing that happens. Okay, this is not my best effort, but I'm tired, I've been sick, so hopefully you'll forgive me for not doing my very best one, and I will fix this. I'll pull those off and fix it later. But there is our Yoda. So that's so quick and simple. This has been 33 minutes of me because I screwed up a couple of times, but that's it. That's your Mickey pin and your Yoda pin, hand quilled, super simple, super quick, super fun and easy, and really inexpensive to get the materials to make. As I said, both of those, it probably cost me $6 for those quilling strips. You can make loads, a few dollars for the badge backs, some gel medium, quilling tool, quilling board. That's all you need. So under $20 and you can make a good probably 100 or so of these. Anyway, I will talk to you all soon. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. As always, please give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Use the code word Yoda. No. There is no try, only do. I think that would be perfect for this one. As always, if you're new here, please subscribe. I'm not very, I feel like I have to do that, but I'm not sure. I may not end my vlogs that way anymore. Anyway, I wish you a Merry Vlogmas. I wish you a Merry Vlogmas. I wish you a Merry Vlogmas. And the vlog ends right.